And as part of today's agenda, okay, we'll discuss about remaining connectivity model, that is point to site. Did you get a chance to uh, go practice this particular thing which I have shared with the document? Point to site VPN, I would say. Anyone tried setting up this particular point to site connectivity? Arjun?
Uh,
Okay. So let me quickly show you that yeah, here I have message some message here. Good morning. Okay. Very good
Hello.
morning. Yes, Arjun.
No, Ramakrishna, I haven't tried actually. I was busy with my work from couple of days.
All right, no
So
issues.
today I'll try it and I'll let you know if I have any queries.
Done. So, anyways, for the sake of other people, okay, let me quickly have a demo today. So, point to set VPN connectivity. So, why do we set up the point to set connectivity? Let's say I'll go back here, and I would say point to set Azure VPN, and I'll go to here to the Microsoft documentation, and yes. So, if at all, let's say if you have a requirement, okay, if you wanted to connect from any specific client or a specific system to Azure network in a private mode, okay, we go with this particular point to set connection. I'm repeating again. So instead of client, if you are confused with the word, let's say from your local computer. Okay, so my from my personal computer, if at all I wanted to connect to my Azure virtual network in a private connectivity, so we'll be setting up this particular point to set connectivity, and here the authentication will happen via certificates. Okay, so let's say if I set up this particular point to site connectivity, I can connect to whatever the resources I have within this particular network using private IP. I don't need any public IP. That means, okay, I'm connecting securely, okay, with a private IPs only. So let's say here, okay, I have a couple of servers, okay, let's say some 10 to 20 servers or maybe 50 servers under this particular virtual network. And if the client has a requirement saying that client wants to connect to those 50 servers using only private IP, not the public IP, okay, from a specific remote client, not from all the networks. So in those scenarios, okay, we can set up this particular point to site connectivity. So if at all, if you wanted to set up a point to site connectivity, same thing. Let me quickly open a paint so that what are the steps we have followed. Okay, so maybe I'll walk you through here also. Let's say, okay, on Azure side, okay, so we need to have a virtual network, and within a virtual network, okay, we should be having, let's say, a subnet. Okay, so I'll put a subnet this way. Okay, so we need to have a separate subnet gateway subnet, and we need to have a one remaining subnet, okay, wherein we are going to create a different VMs. Okay, so let's say I'll name them. I'll come back again, and we will be also creating a VPN gateway. Okay, let's say I'll take this particular coloring, and you will be creating a VPN gateway on top of it also. Okay, so this is what, okay, that you are going to create an Azure site. Let me quickly name those resources here. This is the VNet. Let's say this is the VNet one. Let's say this is subnet one, and this one is the gateway subnet, because we need a gateway subnet. So if at all, if you wanted to create a, I'll just name it as a sub. Okay, if at all, if you wanted to create any VPN gateways, okay, we need to have a gateway subnet. That is a prerequisite. Okay, and this is a VPN gateway. So this is what I'm doing on a Azure side. Let's say within this particular subnet, I have, like, let's say some servers I have created. Okay, so I'll take them into the different coloring. Let's say here, okay, I'll go with an orange. So let's say here I have created a VM. Okay, so let me this I'll name it as a virtual machine. Okay, so to this virtual machine, if at all, if I have the point to site connectivity, I can directly connect using private IP only. Let's say this is my local system now. So this is my local system. We'll go with this one, and okay, so let's say this is my local system. or maybe any client or maybe specific server. Okay, so from this, okay, if at all if I wanted to connect to this VM, okay, in a private mode, okay, I will be setting up this particular point to site connectivity. Okay, so from this particular VPN, okay, I will be setting up this particular point to site connectivity. Let's say I'll keep it in the different mode. Yeah, let's go with this. Okay, so here, okay, I'm setting up point to site, so we can just simply say P2S also. Okay, so or else, okay, let me put it, okay, point to site VPN. So the here, okay, the authentication will happen using certificates. Okay, so this is what, okay, I'm going to achieve it now. Okay, to achieve this particular entire setup, I think, okay, we already had a VNet, subnet, and VPN gateway already created on my portal. So this we have already discussed earlier also. Okay, so here I'll just name this as my local system or any server or any client mission. Okay, all right. So now let me come back to the portal. Okay, so let me go back to this resource group. Okay, so within here, okay, I should be having my setup. Yes, I have it here. So what I wanted here. So I'll go back here. Let me try to minimize. And if I see on Azure side, I need a VNet. Here I have a VNet, and within a VNet, okay, I should be having two subnets. Okay, one is subnet one, default subnet or maybe gateway subnet, and I also have a VPN gateway which is already created. This is the VPN gateway. So very good to go. Okay, on Azure side, okay, we are good. Okay, from the local system, if at all, if you wanted to set up this point to site connectivity, so I need to have a certificates, okay, to be generated. So let me go back to the document, okay, to generate a certificates. So here is a Microsoft document. How do you, okay, how to set up a point to site connectivity step by step. So if I come down, okay, here you could see some of the prerequisites. Okay, you should have a subscription, and here, okay, they are creating a VNet. Okay, and once the VNet is created, okay, so they're creating a VPN gateway also. So that is what, okay, they have mentioned step by step here. Okay, first they're creating a virtual network. Okay, this is the virtual network which we already have it. And if I come down, okay, they're creating a virtual network gateway also. Okay, so if I come down, okay, if you see, this is the proper setup, okay, for creating a virtual network gateway. And if I come down, okay, so here is the process for generating a certificate. Okay, so let's generate a certificate, okay, using this particular documentation. If at all if you don't know something, okay, just go through the Microsoft Docs. Okay, it will be very easy. And since my local system is a Windows 10 operating system, okay, I wanted to go with this particular Windows 10 for now. Okay, so I'll open into the new window. So here you could see generate and export certificate for a point to site, okay, using PowerShell. So let me come down. Okay, so here, okay, first I'm generating a self-signed root certificate. Okay, so if at all if I wanted to generate a self-signed root certificate, okay, so here I could see, okay, this is the basic PowerShell script. So I can just simply copy it and I can just simply execute it. So let's copy this particular X script. Okay, just simply copy it. And if at all if you wanted to understand here, okay, this is the variable, okay, which they are defining. Okay, set, okay, they are defining the set as a variable and they are giving certain commands. Okay, so this entire command, and if you see here subject, okay, they're given as well, if at all if you wanted to create any certificates, we need to give the common name. CNAME we call it is, okay, CN is equal to, they're naming it as a point to site root certificate. So this particular certificate is going to create with this particular name. Okay, and some additional key policy they have, exportable. And if at all if you wanted to create any certificate, okay, so we need to create a certain algorithm, hash algorithm. Okay, so this key should be like, key length could be like 2048 at 4096. Okay, so if I see, okay, if I open this is the certificate generally. Okay, if I open this particular certificate here, okay, so this is the certificate, okay, they are using this particular docs.microsoft.com. Okay, if you see here, okay, this particular certificate is issued to docs.microsoft.com. If you go to the details here, okay, so here you could see the algorithm. Okay, so they're using SHA 256 RSA. Okay, here also you could see SHA 256 they're using. Okay, in addition to that, okay, so let's say you can see the validity from when to when, okay, this particular certificate is valid and valid to also. Okay, till October 8th 2021, this particular, okay, this is the subject name. Here you could see docs.microsoft.com is the subject name. Here you could see cn point to site root, and these are the rest of the details. Okay, we generally pass. Okay, organization name, organization unit, location, state and country, everything. And this is the RSA code. Okay, so length 2048 bit. Okay, here is the key length, okay, that we are keeping it here. And yeah, this is pretty much about it. And if you see the path, okay, where it is stored. Okay, so if you go to any website, okay, even if you go to the Google, okay, you can see the similar certificate. So this is the certificate I'm going to create now. So to do that, okay, let me simply copy it and let me open my PowerShell. Okay, so let me just do a right click and just click on enter. Okay, so this is a specific certificate will be created. Okay, that is like a find to site route. Okay, so let me open my certificate manager. Okay, just say certificate manager. Okay, here I have opened my certificate manager. Let me maximize this. And if I go to this personal or trusted certificates, not, this is not the path. Yeah, let me open it. If I go to this trusted certificates, no, wait, I'll show you the exact path again. So first, okay, let us generate this particular certificates. Just now I have created a root certificate, and it will be stored under this particular path. By default path, okay, you will be having on your local system. So now what I did is, okay, I just created a root certificate. So now I need to generate a client certificate also. Okay, if at all, if I wanted to generate a current certificate, let's say if the same PowerShell console session is still open. Okay, so my PowerShell session is already open already. Okay, the previous PowerShell console is still open. So now if at all, if it is still open, I can go through this particular another PowerShell commands, okay, to create another child certificate. Okay, that is like a client certificate. Okay, so this is the process. Okay, client certificate here I'm going to create. So for that, okay, common name, okay, they have given it as a point to set shell set. Okay, just simply copy it. I'll go back here and I'll paste it again. So let me copy properly again, and let's click on enter. And if you see here, a specific child certificate is created, and this will be the thumbprint, and you can see the subject that is C name, that is point to set child set. So now I'm done with creating a both root certificate. So this is the root certificate, and I have created a client certificate also. You executing this particular specific PowerShell commands. Now, okay, this is something like if at all if you have a new path that which we don't need at this moment. Now, okay, I need to exchange this particular thumbprint. Let's say for when I create a certificates, okay, here, okay, on a first step, okay, so here I have created a root certificate. Okay, here you could see the C name as a root certificate, and here I have created one more certificate, that is child certificate. Now what I need to do is, when you create a certificate, a specific thumbprint will be generated. Okay, let me show you here. I'll go back to the certificate, already existing certificate. If I go to the details here, okay, at the end, okay, you will be having a thumbprint. Can you see this? Okay, this is the thumbprint actually. Okay, the same, okay, you could see here. Let me close it. Okay, this is a thumbprint of this particular pine to set certificate. Now as per this document, what I need to do is, I need to exchange the thumbprint of the root certificate with the client certificate. Okay, so here you could see somewhere in the example here. First here I'm getting a thumbprint. Okay, so here you could see get child child item. Okay, when I say child item, it will give the thumbprint. Okay, so let me simply copy. I'll put it here now. Okay, let's say I'll paste this particular command. Okay, this is the path, okay, where my certificates are stored. Okay, let me click on enter. And if you see here, I think, okay, there are previous certificates which are already exist. Okay, that is the reason, okay, it is giving the details of this particular previous certificates also. So let me try to navigate there. So just a second, I'll manage user certificates. I need to go. So here is the path. Okay, so for which I have generated. Okay, if I go to this particular personal certificates, yes. Okay, here is the path. Okay, where my certificates I generated. I think if you see here, so this is the one, okay, which I have created in the month of April. Okay, if you see here, one root certificate and one child certificate. Okay, so let me delete these two for now. Okay, just to avoid the confusion. And if you see here, okay, this is the you can see the date. Okay, so which I have generated today. Like means, okay, these certificates by default, okay, will be having a 1 year validity. So that's why it is showing as a 2022 as a default expiry date. So today is the May 31st. So till 1 year, okay, this particular two certificates will be valid. And these are the two certificates I generated now. And let's have a thumbprint of these two once again. Yes. If you see here, I'm just getting a child item. Okay, okay. This is the path, okay, where my certificates are stored, and I wanted to have a thumbprint of this particular two certificates. I have a thumbprint now. Okay, so let's go up. Yeah, here it is. So I got the thumbprint of these two certificates. Now what I need to do is, okay, so I need to exchange this particular. Okay, so root, root certificate thumbprint I should exchange with the client certificate. To do that, okay, so here is the command. Okay, so let's say, okay, for example, okay, using the thumbprint of point to set in the previous step, okay, please look the, okay, so that is fine. Let's go up. Yeah, so these two steps, okay, we need to perform now. So let's copy this particular thumbprint for now. So declare the variable for the root certificate using the thumbprint. Okay, so here, okay, I'm just declaring the thumbprint of the root certificate. So then, okay, I'm just accessing it with the uh, child certificate. Okay, so let's copy it and just paste it here. Let me copy it again. Okay, so all right. So this definition is not working properly. If at all, if it is not working, okay, what you can do is, let's come down, modify and run the example generated client certificate. If you wanted to follow the example without modifying it, the result client certificate, okay, not required this one. So let me do one thing. We had a separate example to exchange this particular certificates. Just a second. The C name is the name of the self-signed road certificate from which, okay, declare a variable for the road certificate using the thumbprint. Okay, from the previous step, I replace the thumbprint with the thumbprint of the root certificate from which, okay, you wanted to generate a child certificate. Okay, okay, so I think, okay, which this one is already present. Okay, so I think, okay, I need to uh generate one more point to site certificate. Okay, let's say here is the D655 is the thumbprint of this particular root certificate. Okay, so let me copy this command and I'll put it here. And this thumbprint, okay, I need to exchange with my current root certificate. So here, if I come back, so here is my root certificate. So this is the thumbprint of my root certificate. Let me simply copy it and I'll just replace it here. Okay, I'm just done with the replacing my thumbprint. Okay, just simply copy it. I'll go back here and defining a separate variable now. So now let's come down. I'm done with defining this one. Now, so I am just modifying this particular thumbprint of my client's child certificate. Okay, to do that, okay, so this is the exact thing. Okay, let me simply copy it and I'll go back here and I simply execute it. Just click on enter. And now, okay, so I created one more child certificate, okay, with a specific different thumbprint. Now let's come back here. Let's read this one. Modify and run the example generated client certificate. If you run the following example without modifying it, the result is a client certificate name. If you wanted to name the child certificate something else, okay, modify the CNAME value. Do not change the text extension when running the example. That is fine. The client certificate that you generate automatically install in a certificate. Okay, that's fine. So now if I go back here and I should be having a 3 certificates. Okay, let me do refresh. Go to actions and do refresh. And if you see here, I have a 3 certificates altogether. Okay, one is root certificate, two are child certificates, and these two are client authenticated, and I need to verify which one is the latest. So to do that, okay, let me open any one of the thing here, and let me go to the details and come back to the thumbprint. So thumbprint, okay, is here is the 9C1. So let's say if I come back, yeah, this is the second one. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, we'll be exporting these 2 certificates now. So let me minimize this. So I just created 2 certificates and I have to export those certificates now, and I should be storing in any one of the local system. So to export the certificates, okay, here you could see the progress. Just right click on it, export all tasks, and you will be given this particular document, example. So here, okay, you need to export the root certificate, okay, without any, private key, and you just need to save it as a, this particular encoded model, and you can just, choose the path and you can just click on finish. Let me come back here. So this is my root certificate. Okay, and I'm just, go to the all tasks and I'll just click on export. And while exporting, okay, if I go to the next, okay, here it will ask you whether you want to export with a private key. I don't need any private key, so let me go to the next. And here, okay, I'm, saving it with the encoded, this is a, method. Let me go to the next, and wherein, okay, I need to give the path, okay, where this particular certificate is to be stored. Let me browse it on my local system. Let's say here under my documents, okay, I have already created a separate folder called point to set certificate. So let me save it here, and I should be giving certain name. I would say point to site root certificate. Let me click on save, and let me go to the next and click on finish. So see here, this particular certificate should be exported on my local system. Okay, if I go to the documents, and under the documents I have created a separate folder called point to site root certificate. Fine. So now I should be, exporting one more child certificate. Okay, this is my child certificate. Let me click on right click and export. So let's see what are the options, okay, we need to follow to export this particular, child certificate. Okay, here you could see client certificate exported, export all tasks, and here, okay, I need to go with a private IP. Then, okay, I need to go with this particular remaining details. I need to give certain password. I need to give the path, and I need to click on finish. Let me come back here. Let me go to the next. This time I need a private key for this one. Let me click on next, and I'm going with the defaults. Let me go to the next. So I need a password. If at all, if you wanted to keep your password, you can keep. If at all, if you don't want, okay, you can go with the defaults. I think without password, it will not allow you. So let me give some unique password here, and let me go to the next. And the same path I'll give here. Okay, so under this, okay, I'll just name it. Here, if you see, the extension will be coming as a .pfx. Earlier, it is coming as a .cer. And here, okay, I would say find to site. Maybe I'll just say client certificate. Let's click on save. Let me go to the next and click on finish. If you see, I have generated 2 certificates using this basic PowerShell commands, and now I just, exported those 2 certificates. Okay, so here is the 2 certificates. If at all, if you wanted to establish the point to site connectivity, these 2 certificates should be present on your local system. Let's say currently I have, these 2 certificates which are installed on my local system. Tomorrow, let's say maybe Arjun or Vasi or maybe any other wants to connect to the same VNet. Okay, so by with the, private connection, they have to install these 2 certificates on their local system. Okay, that is the reason we exported these 2 certificates. Okay, let's say, okay, here I'm done with, exporting my certificates. I generated certificates. Now I need to make the configuration because I have a VPN gateway is also ready. So let me go back to the portal. So here, okay, this is my VPN gateway. This is not the one. Here is the VPN gateway. Okay. So on a VPN gateway, okay, so under settings, okay, you have a option called point to site configuration. So just click on this particular point to site configuration. And here, okay, so you will be getting an option to, configure the point to site connectivity. Let me click on configure. And here I need to pass certain IP. So let me come back here to the document. Okay, this IP could be anything. Okay, let's say, okay, this is the process I'm following now. I came back here and just click on configuration, and here, okay, if you see, Okay, so okay, they're specifying certain, any one of the private IP. So let's say I'll specify the same IP here, and 172.16. Let's go back here. Okay, so let me follow the document 2010. Okay, /24. Okay, so here, okay, the tunnel type. Okay, so we can choose the any one of the tunnel that you wanted. Okay, so if you choose the open VPN tunnel, okay, you have to download the open VPN once again. So to avoid those things, okay, I'll go with the IKE version 2. And authentication model, okay, here, okay, we can go with the three different authentication models. You can also go with Azure Active Directory. So when you go with Azure Active Directory, okay, so again these concepts should be different. So in a free trial account, okay, I will be not having this particular permissions. So we'll go with the default as a certificate. Let's say, okay, here I'll go with the authentication model as a certificate. And here, okay, I need to give the certificate name. Let's say I saved the certificate name as a point to site root. I need to give the root certificate here. So here, okay, I need to give the certificate data. So if I go back here, this is my point to set certificate. If I double click it, let's say I'll open it in the notepad. Open with a notepad. So whenever I open a notepad, okay, so here you could see this is the entire certificate information. Okay, in a 2048 length. So I need to copy only this data. Just simply copy it. Don't copy the begin certificate and end certificate. Copy this only this data and just put it here. Okay, so here, okay, authentication model I'm using a certificate. For the certificate, okay, I'm passing the client certificate, and the tunnel type I'm using the IKE version 2. And once you pass these details, okay, just click on save. Okay, once you save it, okay, we can just download the VPN and we can just install it on our local system. So once this particular VPN is installed, okay, we can connect to this particular network in a private connectivity model. Okay, so let's verify the configuration here. It is still saving. So this is what I have performed now. Okay, for the point to site VPN connectivity. Let's say I'll put it here. Okay, point to site VPN. So this VPN connectivities are very, very important. Try to practice it. If you have any challenges, okay, please do let me know. Okay, so I'm happy to help you out. Okay, so let's minimize. Okay, it is still saving the configuration details.
Okay,
So
can
once
you
it
go
is done,
to
we'll
can you
download
go
this
back to the
particular VPN.
certificate application one time?
Sorry, Vasi, your voice is too low.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you go back to the certificate which you just copy that the begin and end? Which one you
Okay.
say? There's a root now that you copied that one. Yeah,
Yes.
can you
Yeah.
minimize? Then you close this.
Sorry.
You open a notepad, correct? Just
Yeah.
close this. You close this and then can you double click on that certificate? The root.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the self sent certificate.
It's a self-send certificate. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. But you gave the name as a root, so root means it's not signed by any certificate authority. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
no. I got it.
I
Thank you.
got it. Yeah. Yeah. So let me come back here. It is still performing the operation. So to perform this step by step, okay, you can go to the Microsoft document. Okay, you will be having a detailed Microsoft documentation. Later, how to connect it, how to download it. Okay, all right. So if you are facing any challenge, okay, so just following the Microsoft Docs. Okay, so what I recommend is, okay, you might be having certain blocks. Okay, somebody might be written in a step by step, with the screenshots also. Let's say here I'm performing Azure Point to Site VPN, right? So you just type, okay, step by step. Okay, so here, okay, you could see multiple blocks. Okay, let's say here, okay, using portal something. Okay, if you wanted to do it using portal. Okay, here you could see how do multiple blocks. Okay, how to perform it. Okay, let's say I'll go with this particular additional document. One more tech community which is somebody has created it here, and here they are using a PowerShell completely to create a VPN gateways and VPN VNets also. Okay, so this is the steps, okay, we have done already. Okay, And if I come down, okay, so here is the generating a self-signed certificate and root certificate, basic simple PowerShell commands. Okay, you can just create them and you can just simply export. Okay, so here you could see complete, you can give the different name also, Vasi, for your information, but I just went through the, whatever the names we have it there. And they just exported the certificates, and after exporting the certificates again, they came to the point to site configuration, they made a configuration and they will download the, here you could see this is the exact certificate details. Okay, they're passing it here. And when you paste the certificate, do not copy this particular begin certificate and end certificate text. Okay, this is what, okay, I mentioned, right? They mentioned it as a note. And for testing the connectivity, okay, so they're just downloading the VPN. And okay, once you download the VPN, okay, you will be having a setup file like this. And okay, so once it is installed, okay, you will be having a under the your connections here, you will be having this particular one of the connectivity model, and you can just click and connect, and you will be able to connect to this particular VPN. Same as like you will be connecting to your office network, right? Office VPN. Okay, if at all if you wanted to connect to your office network, okay, we'll be connecting to VPN. So same thing, okay, so we can achieve it now. So now what I will do is, okay, I'll create a one VM also here, okay, in the into this network, and we'll test it. Okay, how can we connect, okay, using a private IP of the VM, not the public IP. So that if at all if you are facing any challenges, if even if I don't you know share any documents, because I always prefer the Microsoft documents, because if there are any updates, okay, so okay, you will be finding those updates in a Microsoft document itself. If you see here, this particular Microsoft document was updated on April 28th. Okay, but if you go to the certain blocks, third party blocks, what happens is you will be able to find the some step by step easy process, but whatever the updates what Microsoft is coming up with, okay, you will be not able to figure it out. Okay, so make a habit of doing a Google, so that your work will become very easy. Okay, so let's come back here, and if you see here, my configuration is saved successfully, and let me download this particular VPN client now. Okay, I am just clicking on the download option now, and once it is done, okay, I will be able to see my within my downloads page. Okay, let's minimize this. In the meantime, okay, what I will do is I'll quickly go ahead and create a VM here under this particular virtual network. So let me quickly go to the VM. I'll just initiate the creation just to test the connectivity, and I have my setup is already downloaded. I'll go ahead and I'll just simply name it as a VM1, and it should be in a same network. My network is in a east to east. Okay, I'm going with the minimal size. I'll go with the Azure user as a username, and I make sure that I should be creating in a same network. Yeah, so I'm creating in a same network. I don't want any public IP. Just make it as a none. Just click on review and create. First, okay, we'll initiate the VM creation. Then, okay, we'll set up the VPN. Then, okay, we'll connect to the VPN and we'll test the connectivity. I should be able to connect to the VM using a private IP now. Okay, I initiated the VM deployment. In the meantime, I'll go back here and let me extract it here. Yeah. So when I extracted here, okay, so here I could see the VPN related setup files here. If I go to the generic, okay, here I could see the certificate information. And if I go back to this particular here, okay, I have a exe setup file. So this I need to run now. So let me double click this particular setup. So Windows protected, okay, so let me go to the more information. Sometimes what happens is, okay, it will give certain security warning. So probably, okay, you can go and say run anyway. So since it is a lab, maybe if it is your office system, don't do that. Okay, so if I go back here, it is asking me to install a setup file. Do you want to install VPL client for VPNet 1? Yes. Okay, so I'm just installing this particular exe setup file, which has all the configuration of my particular VPN setup. Okay, what I have configured here. Let me close it here. If I go to the VPN, and here you could see I have already a VNet one is the VPN. Okay, because okay, it will by default, okay, it will be coming along with my VNet name. Okay, if I go back here, Okay, so here is my VNet, right? Okay, I named it as VNet 1. So if at all, if I wanted to connect to this VPN, okay, just do a click on it, and you can just click on connect. Okay, so as soon as click on it, okay, it will pop up a window. Just click on connect. So typically, even for your office network also, you will be connecting to like this only. Okay, so once you join any organization, for the people, okay, who are pretty new to the IT industry, and if you see here, okay, you are connected, and the same thing, okay, you can see here the VPN statuses here. Okay, so I connected to the separate VPN called Azure VNet, and whatever the resources I have into this particular network, okay, I can easily connect them, okay, using private IP now. Let's say I have a VM also, I think here. Let's do refresh. Let me go to the VM, and I don't have any public IP here for the VM. I need to connect to the using private IP. Let's say I'll just simply copy the private IP, and let me take an RDP. I should be able to perform it because okay, I have a point to site connectivity here. Can you see? I was able to connect to this particular VM using private IP. Let's say I'll give the password because I have given the same username. That is fine. Let me click on OK. Can you see I'm able to connect to the VM using a private IP now? Okay. So let's say I disconnect this particular VPN connection. Okay. So I'll go back here. Here. Okay. So I'll go back here and I'll say disconnect. Okay. I have not connected to the VPN. So my IDP connection should be exit. Can you see? The connection has been lost because I disconnected my VPN. Okay, if I don't have a you know this particular setup is connected, I should not be able to connect. Let's say I have not connected to my VPN, and let's try connecting using this particular private IP. Let's say if I connect, okay, I should be getting an error because I did not connect it to the VPN for setting up this particular configuration. Definitely, it will give an error because I did not connect to my VPN. Can you see? I'm getting an error. Let's say I'll go back here and I'll connect back. Click on connect. Continue. Yeah. So it is connected now. Now again I go back here and if you can connect, this particular RDP connection will be connected. So this is how, okay, so we can set up a point to set connectivity and we can connect to all the resources under your virtual network, okay, by using in a private IPs instead of public IPs. Okay, this is one of the very important scenario. Okay, please do practice without fail. Okay, I'm repeating once again on a high level. Okay, I'll list out the steps here just to make you understand better. Let me put it here. First, what I'm doing, I'm creating a VNet 1, right? Next thing, I'm creating a separate subnet called gateway subnet, right? So then what I'm doing, I'm creating a VPN gateway and attach the VNet 1. Okay, this is what I'm doing on a Azure side. Okay, and coming to your on-premises, okay, or maybe your local system, okay, you will be generating a certificate. Okay, what types of certificates? Root certificate and client certificate. Okay, this will do from the server level or local system or maybe any client mission. Okay, right. Why am I listing this process steps here? Because when you go for an interview and you say that you have worked on this particular site VP point to set configuration, they will ask you to walk you through the steps. That's why I'm mentioning this particular step by steps. Please remember these steps also. This will be you will be able to remember once you practice itself. If you don't practice, okay, you will easily forget it again. And once you have the certificate, okay, you just export the certificate for the certificates if you want to install on other server. Let's say these certificates I have created on my system today. Let's say tomorrow if somebody wants to connect to the same servers, okay, using private IP, okay, so on their local system they have to install these certificates. And next, go to VPN, Okay, under settings. Okay, so you have a option called point to site configuration. So there, okay, you have to choose the configuration type, maybe authentication type. Authentication type you have to choose it as a Azure certificate and pass the certificate details. Then download the VPN. Very simple steps. Okay, so just try to remember these steps. Okay, so which will be very important. I'll put it here. Okay, I'm completely repeating once again. First I'm creating a vnet. Okay, here is the vnet, and first I'll be creating a gateway subnet, because if at all if I wanted to create a VPN gateway on Azure, I should be having a separate subnet called gateway subnet. And here, okay, I'm creating a separate VPN gateway now and attaching to the vnet. I'm done. So next, okay, I'm generating the certificates on my local system. Okay, here, okay, I'm generating a both root certificate and client certificate, and I'm just exporting them for the further usage. Then after, okay, I'll go to the VPN again, and within a VPN under settings, okay, you have an option called point to site configuration. There you need to choose the authentication type as a certificate, and you need to pass the certificate information, and you need to just simply download the VPN and just install it on your local system and just click on connect. Very simple. Okay, so this is pretty much about this particular one more connectivity model, that is like a point to site. Okay, so till now we discussed most of the scenarios, like different connectivity models. I'll quickly repeat them. Okay, so we discussed about the uh, regional pairing. Regional VNet pairing we discussed. Regional VNet pairing is nothing but a two VNets in the same region. Okay, if they are like in a two VNets in a different region, okay, we call it as a global VNet pairing. Okay, so this we call it as a global VNet pairing. The same region or different region. VNets are a different region. Okay, in addition to that, we also discussed about VNet pairing between multiple subscription, or maybe let's say two subscriptions, which is possible. Okay, so here the prerequisite is, okay, so the IP should not be overlapping. The IP addresses of these two networks should not be overlapping. And coming to here, the prerequisite is on a two subscriptions you should be having a minimum virtual network administrator privileges, or else. And at the same time, okay, both the VNets IP should not be overlapping. And we also discussed about the VNet to VNet VPN. So these are all like within a Azure. Okay, if at all if you wanted to establish the connection between your virtual networks. And coming to your on-premises to Azure, we discussed about the site to site, which is like connectivity from your on-prem network to Azure. Same way we also discussed just now about the point to site. Okay, point to site also is something like if at all if you wanted to establish the connectivity from your specific server to Azure network. We could say server or we could say client. Okay, so these connectivity models are very very important. Okay, try to remember. And we also have a one more connectivity model, that is express route. So this express route, okay, I might not able to explain in detail, because okay, to set up this express route, okay, we need to have a separate internet provider. And this configuration, okay, will be done from the ISP, from the ISP side only. So I will give you the high level steps, and what is the major difference between site to site and express route, and what are the scenarios, okay, we use the site to site, and what are the scenarios, okay, we use the express route. Okay, let's quickly discuss now. So this express route also, okay, to have the connectivity from on-premises network to Azure. So remember these connectivity models. If at all if you wanted to have a connection from your on-premises network to Azure network, so we have a two connectivity model. One is site to site, one is another one is express route. And this point to site is something like a from a specific client server or a remote computer. Okay, so let's come back here. I'll go to the document first, and I would say Azure express route. Okay, so here you could see many documentations for the Azure express route. So maybe I'll go through here. Okay, so you could say make your connection fast, reliable, and private. So this is like a private communication. I was talking about the differences, right? Okay, in the meantime, let me open the differences page also. Uh, Azure site to site, VPN, and I would say versus Express route. Okay, so you can go back to the any one of the maybe articles. Let me try to open a different windows here. Okay, so one of the Microsoft blog itself, okay, they clearly explained about these two, Express route or a virtual network VPN. Okay, what's right for me? Okay, what are the different use cases, okay, that you can see? Okay, here you could see the point to site. Okay, when do we go with the point to site? Okay, when do we go with the site to site, and when do we go with the express route? And there are basic differences here you could see. Okay, on the top level, if you see point to site we discussed, site to site we discussed, and express route, okay, we are going to discuss now. So this express route, okay, so exchange provider and network service provider, okay, there are two connectivity models again we have. So forget about these two for now. Let's concentrate on high level comparisons here. Azure services supported, okay, cloud service virtual machines for the point to site, cloud service virtual machine for site to site also refer to valid list. Maybe like this express route, okay, we can majorly use for the migration scenarios. Let's say if at all if you have any huge workloads, okay, on your on premises, maybe on your own data center, and if at all if you wanted to migrate those workloads to Azure, so we go with the express route connectivity. And these are the certain bandwidths, like how much speed, okay, we can expect, okay, with these particular connectivity models. If you see here, okay, here, okay, we could say maximum of 100 mbps, here also maximum of 100 mbps, and here if you see it is up to like a 10 gb 10 gigabytes per second. So this is the major difference, okay, when you compare with the site to site and express route. Okay, so whereas compared site to site is the like public connectivity from your on-premises network to Azure, and the traffic will be encrypted using IPsec tunnels using a VPN gateways. But whereas with the express route, the entire connectivity itself is a private connection. Okay, here, okay, you will be having a separate internet provider, okay, for setting up this particular connectivity, and that data transfer compared to the site to site, okay, the point to site will be like a too high, and it is very expensive also. And here you could see, okay, secure socket tunneling, okay, we will go with the certificates here for the authentication protocol supported protocols. Okay, here we go with IPsec tunnels. Okay, here we will go with the direct connect or VLANs. Okay, here you could see the routing, static and BGP, and the connection reliability, active passive, and you can go with the SLAs here, and the pricing also you can go with it here. Okay, let me quickly walk you through the certain documents here. Oh, here you could see certain VPN gateway and express route. Okay, this is your on premises, this is your Azure. Okay, so you can go to the certain blocks here. Okay, so they have explained certain in detail. Okay, I'll say this later. Maybe here, okay, we have one more block. Yeah, this is for setting up this particular site to site. Same thing we discussed, and same way, okay, here you could see what exactly express route and what are their configurations. Let me come back here with the Microsoft document. I'll say go to the document. I would say Azure Express Route docs. Yeah. So if you wanted to go with a proper documentation at the end, just keep it docs as a suffix or prefix. Okay, it will be exactly navigated to the specific path. And if you see here, this is the document. If you go to the what exactly the express route about, okay, here you could see this is your on-premises network, and in between, okay, you will be having a partner edge. Okay, you will be creating a two tunnels. Okay, to have a setup to your Azure virtual network. Okay, so how to achieve it? Okay, you can go to the portal here. Okay, how we are setting up this particular express route connectivity is a private connectivity by the way, and Equinix is the one of the service provider, okay, for setting up this particular express route connectivity or express route circuit, I would say. Okay, so how to perform this? Okay, you can go here. Okay, you can go ahead and here, and you can create a VPN connectivity. If you remember, while we creating this particular VPN gateway, let's say I'll go back to the same resource group, and here if I click on marketplace, if at all if you wanted to create a VPN gateways, let's say Azure network gateway. Okay, same virtual network gateway here. Okay, while creating this particular gateway, okay, we'll be choosing the gateway type as a express route here. That is the only difference. If I wanted to create a express route gateways, okay, I will be choosing as a express route. If you wanted to go with a normal, you can go with a normal VPN. Okay, here let's come back here. I'll go to the document. Okay, here you need to choose the type as a express route. Okay, here is the basic details. And yeah, so and the next to configure, I think they have modified a bit. Okay, can you see they have modified last month. This is how, okay, how do we create a express route, and here you can choose the provider and how much bandwidth that you wanted. Let's walk you through these steps now. So here if you see, okay, so this is my name I can give. Let's say I'll give a demo x year. I'll just say express route, and let's say I'll go with the east to yes because my virtual network is in a east to yes. Okay, here the VPN type I should be taking it as express route. Here, okay, we have a different pricing types or SKUs. Upon that, okay, your pricing will be varies, and I need to choose the virtual mission. And whenever you create a VPN gateways, by default, okay, gateway subnet will be created. Even for the creation of this particular express route also, we'll be giving a separate subnet called gateway subnet. And here also we'll be creating a separate public IP. Let's say here, let me create a new public IP. I'd say demo express route public IP, and the rest of the details, okay, so I can go with the defaults. Okay, so once you create a VPN gateway, okay, so this particular express route, okay, we can go with the additional details. Apart from these, okay, if I go here and if I type on a top express route circuit, okay, for creating the circuit again we have a different options. Let me click on create. That is the option which I have shown you for creating a just a gateway. Okay, once you, if at all, if you wanted to create express route circuit, so here you could see the document. Okay, I can choose any one of the resource group, and I can choose the region. Let's say I'll go with the east to east, and here just name it as a demo ER circuit. Okay, this is on the basic page, and when I go to the configuration, okay, here is the details. Okay, required data, so we need to pass. I was telling, right? Okay, so we can go with a provider or a direct somewhere. Okay, you have seen a provider or a direct connectivity model. There is the thing. Okay, exchange provider or a direct communication. Okay, so this is the path. Okay, you could see, let's say if I go with the provider, okay, okay, these are the providers I have it here. Okay, so create a new import and a classic model. Let's say, yeah, so it was taking some time to load. These are the internet providers, okay, for setting up this particular express route connectivity. Okay, starting from these are the ISPs, okay, internet service provider, so across the globe, or maybe specific region. Let's say here, okay, I have chosen the region as a east to east, right? Okay, within a east to east, okay, we have these are the ISPs. Okay, so if you see here, okay, we'll be having most of the services like Airtel, which we already know. Some of you might be already know AT&T, right? So if I come down, okay, you also see BSNL here, and if I keep coming down, okay, so Equinix is the one of the major service, okay, we generally use. And still if I come down, okay, so Geo we have. Okay, these are the if you see, if you know the some of the services still, okay, Reliance Geo. If I still keep down coming down, okay, you can see Vodafone as well, Vodacom, right? So Vodafone Idea Limited, which was the recent Idea and Vodafone as mixed, right? Okay, so they come up with the Vodafone Idea Limited. So you can choose any one of the provider. Let's say in our case, okay, I'll go with the Airtel here, and peering location you need to choose. Okay, so since from India, okay, I can choose the peering connectivity from either Mumbai or Chennai. Okay, so Airtel will be supported within India either from Mumbai or Chennai. So let's say I'll go with the Chennai. And how much bandwidth you wanted? Okay, as a maximum, you can go with the 10 Gbps. Okay, when you transfer the data from your on-premises network to Azure, okay, by using this particular express route connectivity, okay, I can choose the bandwidth limit here. Let's say I'll go with the minimal one here, and these are the additional pricing models. Okay, you can go with the document if at all if you wanted, and I can just click on a tax. I can just review and create it here, and let me click on create. So once I create a circuit and the connectivity setup, okay, will be done from the that particular service provider itself. Let's say if I come back to the document here, this is just to create a circuit, and here you could see how to perform the circuit details in detail here. Let's say I'll go up bit. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, after creating, okay, so they're making certain configurations. So once you're done with the configurations, okay, you have to go ahead and validate the configurations like this. Okay, let's come back here. If I go to the resource, so this is the express route connectivity which I have done, and this is the symbol. Okay, so if you see here, okay, it is all the things. Okay, so Azure private end, Azure public, and Microsoft, these are all not provision data, because these are all things, okay, will be taken care by the service provider. If I go to the configuration, okay, you can see the what is the bandwidth that you have chosen and all that stuff. So but if you wanted to change them, you can choose the from here itself. Okay, so just I'm just giving a high level glimpse, okay, which we cannot practice it here as a as per our labs. Here you could see the initial provisioning process with the service provider, because this has to be done from the service provider itself. Here we have chosen the service provider as a Airtel. Okay, so here I'll walk you through the certain high level Microsoft related architectures here for the related to Azure virtual networks. Let's say Azure virtual network architecture. So if I go to the images here, maybe let me quickly show you as the things, okay, which we have already discussed, so that you will not get confused. This is something for the site to site connectivity. If you see, this is your on premises, this is your Azure, and in between, okay, what we are having, okay, we're creating a connection. It could be like a site to site connection. When you see this connection symbol, it is like a, for sure, is a site to site connectivity. For that, okay, we'll be creating a VPN gateway here. Okay, and for that, we'll be setting up the remaining connectivities. This is one of the model. Let's say I would say express route here. Yep. Let's go up. Okay, let me open this one only. If you see here, okay, this is on the left hand side. Okay, this is your let me copy it. I'll put it here. So this is your on-premises network, and this completely is your Azure network. Okay, this is a virtual network on Azure. This is your on-premise network. Okay, to set up this particular connectivity from your on-premises to Azure, okay, here we are using the circuit model called express route. Okay, so express route, okay, will be using whenever we have a huge number of data that you wanted to transfer from your on-premises network to Azure. Let's say here I have a database, and that database has a data of like almost like some terabytes. Okay, let's say some 50 terabytes are maybe like 100 terabytes. If at all, if you wanted to migrate that data, we'll be using this particular express route connectivity. Using site to site, okay, which is not possible, because the data transfer and the bandwidth is very less compared with the express route, and there it is a public connectivity. So when you go with the public, okay, the when you transfer some data via public, okay, it will be bit slow compared with the private connection. And here you could see the rest of the setup. So maybe at the end of our sessions, okay, we'll come up with in detail about the architecture diagrams. Okay, so one more important thing here is like so when you talk about Azure virtual network, okay, so Azure hub and spoke model is a very important process here. Okay, let's say I'll go here. This is very important, okay, even for the interviews also. This particular hub and spoke network topology is very very important. Okay, what happens is, uh, let's say if you have a requirement to migrate certain workloads from your on-premises network to Azure network, generally companies follow this particular hub and spoke models. So whereas from your on-premises network to Azure network, you will be having a express route connectivity for your hub net, and from hub network to remaining spoke networks, okay, you will be having a peering connectivity. Okay, let's say I'll go with a different diagrams here itself. Yeah, let me go with it. This is one of the I'm just giving you a high level glimpse. Okay, maybe you can just go through it. let's say this is my on-premises network. Okay, here I have my two servers. Okay, maybe let's say here I'm running certain applications. These applications, if at all, if I wanted to migrate to Azure, okay, in a different subscriptions or a different networks, so we go with this hub and spoke best practice. So whereas from our on-premises network to Azure network, you will be having extra short connectivity for your hub virtual network. Hub is nothing but a like kind of parent, and spoke networks are kind of like a children's. Okay, so for each and every hub and spoke network, okay, you will be having a VNet pairing connectivity. Okay, this is one of the important architects and method. Okay, generally why companies follow. So just try to remember this particular model also: extra short and VNet pairing. Okay, I'll share this particular documents with you. Okay, maybe you can just go through the in detailed. Okay, why generally we go with this particular hub and spoke model also. Okay, fine. So I think, okay, so we covered most of the virtual network connectivity models till now. So these are the high level virtual network connectivity models we have. And in addition to that, okay, so maybe tomorrow let's discuss about the remaining topics. That is like NIC, that is network interface, and NSG, network security groups. And in addition to that, we also have ASG, that is application security groups. And apart from these, I don't know whether you observed it or not, when you create a VM, okay, a separate network watcher is getting created. If you remember, if you have observed it or not, I'm not sure. If I go to the portal, if I go back to the resource groups, okay, can you see whenever I create a VM, a specific network watcher RG is created. Okay, this network watcher, okay, will be used, okay, to monitor your network. Okay, complete network flow and everything. Okay, so we'll discuss in detail about this particular network watcher also tomorrow. Okay, so for today, okay, I'm just stopping my session, and I will be sharing you the document of this particular setting up this point to set configuration. Please try practice without fail. Okay, so maybe I'm not sure how we can set up using your office laptop. For that, okay, what you can do is probably just try to create a VM, and from within a VM, okay, practice all this setup whatever I have done now. Right, so let me close this connection, and I will give it to you if you have any questions. If not, okay, let's catch up tomorrow. Any more question you have? Okay, I'll take it as a no. Thank you guys. Okay, so have a good day. Happy Monday. Thank you. Bye.